It's one of the main highlights of September, a night of clean fun for the family to enjoy the hypnotic and sweet sounds of a steel pan band. It's a crowd puller for sure, and this year's Pan Yaad turnout was almost 2,000 people. Director of ICA Kim Vasquez reflects on how much the event has grown over the years, moreover how they first started about 15 years ago.
It was an initiative, I believe, we have to give credit to former niche president Diane Halak. I believe it was her brainchild to have a Pan Yaad, a festival for steel pans. You know, I mean, at that time there we were really seeing, like I said, the emergence of new steel pan programs. We were seeing at that time there, Pan Tempters was still around for a long time, one of the oldest steel pans, of course. But then, you know, we had the All-Stars as well, and there were a couple others. Panorifics was really taking off at that time, as I can recall. And then niche as well, we had our youth development program at that time, Pandemonium. That was the original vision for it. And so this is where the foundation, of course, of Pan Yaad began. And it grew. It started off, like I said, just like a jam session there at the House of Culture. House of Culture was the original location, the home of Pan Yaad. And at that time, there were no big stages, no lot of fancy lights. You know, I can recall that first one many years ago. I was a junior program officer at that time. The pans were on the ground and, you know, it was just a couple bands. And it started to grow.
And from the House of Culture, the Pan Yaad has taken to many city venues over the years, from IT Vet to Marion Jones, and back to what is now called the Government House. It remains as one of the most anticipated Belizean events of the year. However, this year was much different than others. Vasquez explained why.
What was different this year was that we had the duets where the bands played together. The participation has been, like I said, fantastic. And we recognize, again, the support and participation that comes in from outside of Belize City. It's not an easy thing, you know. Pandisi is still a small program, but they come all the way in from Kikaker. The support and participation of Panorifics, and that band has 3 different sections, you know, Miss and Catch, Panorific seniors, and then their juniors. So, you know, like I said, we had new bands. We had the return of Grace Primary. Now, Grace Primary has been around. Their steel pan program goes back some 30 years. They were one of the first primary schools to actually have a steel pan program. So we were excited to see Grace Primary return. We know that, again, like we said, the Scout Tenors made their debut at Pan Yaad, and SCA as well. And of course, returning, we had UB. This was their 2nd year returning. And so, like I'm saying, we're really seeing the growth of these steel pan programs across the country.
The Pan Yaad party surely never disappoints and always leaves the crowd wanting more. With a total of 10 bands participating this year, with a number of combos and crossovers between bands, Vasquez says that the audience was more than pleased by the performance.
We had an excellent turnout. Actually, we had a slight increase in audience over last year. We just finished doing looking at the figures internally here, and we had a slight increase. And so, yes, you know, the support of the public and everything, like I said, we try to make it a family affair. We try to not let it be done too late in the night and to keep it towards midnight. We know that it's a busy time, you know, the expo is happening, but, you know, we are so pleased that the public continues to be so very supportive. And again, I think it has to do with community. It has to do with each of those bands, the parents and the wider community that support them. But we know that as well, that people do look forward to coming out to Pan Yaad. It's definitely something different. One of the things I think that is the attraction is the diversity of the music that these bands put out when they're preparing. And so, like I always say, it's not just it's a little bit of everything. There's some pop. We saw hip hop and all from Pantempter, some 1990s hip hop. We saw some reggae. Of course, we saw the soca music and all of the different party music as well. And I think when that really combines, it really lends to a really nice party atmosphere that people look forward to.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.